What's going on, everyone? How you
Hello.
doing? How you doing?
Hey guys.
Chilling here with Mike.
Yes. Slasher chilling with Mike on another day in New York City where we had some good winter weather, 60 degrees and 65 degrees. Love it. For all you guys in California, we get some good weather too. And a lot of rain actually.
So we were gonna talk about this thing, video games and movies and the tie-ins.
Right. We were thinking about going three ways. Video games that became movies, movies that became video games, and then opinion-based from us, video games that we think might make good movies overall. And everyone who loves movies and video games, which I'm sure everyone who's watching this right now loves either movies or video games. If you don't love either one, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you shouldn't be watching. But as far as video games that became movies, which I guess we can start off with that, right? Video games that became movies. And just to preface this, I just want to say one thing.
I haven't seen so many of the movies on this list, actually.
But to preface it in the beginning, basically, a lot of people, I don't think, what do you think? Do you think people go into video game movies thinking they're going to see like an Oscar award-winning movie?
Shakespeare.
Yeah, they're going to see Shakespeare or, Marlon Brando type performances.
All right.
I go into video game movies thinking, if I could just enjoy the movie and I could get through the movie, because you even said you walked out of a few movies.
No, I never walked out of a movie.
You walked out of a bunch of movies.
I've turned
Well, you
off
turned off
movies.
movies. Or you tuned
I
out
never
your head.
actually, not once have I went to the movie theater and walked out. Not one single time. You've done that? You actually did that? You walked out before the movie was over? Without an emergency going on, I mean.
I think there might have been a movie I did walk out of, yes. I can't remember what it was, but there are movies that I've walked out of that I just didn't like it in general. But that seems more you than me.
Really?
Yeah, I remember there were times where I walked out. There was two reasons. One, because when I first saw, I think, Titanic, it was way longer. You know how when you go with a group of people or two people, you split up, you watch different movies, and then one movie's longer than the other? I think I went to go see with a bunch of people. I saw Titanic, which was like 3 hours, and other people saw a movie that was an hour and a half. So I walked out to meet up with them. But there are movies that disgusted me. So you're saying that because every time I talk to you about movies that we watch, you always say, oh, I didn't finish the rest of it. So if you're home and you're watching a movie...
I have never went to the movie theaters and walked out of the movie before it's
okay, fine.
over.
But a lot of times when you watch
time.
movies at home, you say that you'll change the channel in the middle of the movie. But you'll never do that inside of a movie theater because you give respect.
Because
you paid your money.
Because a movie theater is not a television and there's not a remote to sit there in the audience and
I guess so.
That.
Yeah, I guess you can't fast forward it or watch it later on. But as far as video games that became movies, I always go into video game movies thinking that I'm not going to like it.
Video game movies is also it's kind of a stupid thing to do.
Okay, well...
I always kind of...
Well, not really. If it has a good story to it.
If it has a good story to it, yes. But...
give some examples of video
bad
games.
ones?
Well, just in general.
Bad ones. I'll give you a bad one.
Okay.
I'll give you a bad one. Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers.
That was one of the worst movies that I've ever...
And it's interesting that...
I actually put myself to watch that, and luckily I didn't see it in the movies. I didn't see it in the movies.
Well, were you a big Super Mario's fan of the game? I think we all were.
I was a fan of the game, but it didn't make me want to go out and see the movie. And I saw the movie years later, and it was terrible.
Oh, so you didn't even see the movie theater?
No.
See, I actually think I saw that in the movie theater.
Why? Why would you do
because
that?
I was... Video game movies back...
Alright,
were a big thing.
I saw Street Fighter in the movies.
Right. Right. But before we get to the Street
And
Fighter
I
review,
think I saw that opening day and I didn't want to. But my friend that I was going with, like, he really wanted to see it, and he he didn't want to admit how bad it was.
because sometimes you go to the movies, you just want to like it because you went and you spent the money. But going back to the Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo and who was the other guy that played Mario?
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. He was also in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the casting was kind of okay. I think the story was a little weak. And I mean, you know what's funny? Because when I think about the movie, if I watch it now, I'm not going to like it. But maybe I liked it more back then.
Everything else that was so stupid.
I know. I mean, it was a stupid movie in general.
Dennis Hopper as King Koopa, yeah.
Which is probably the best thing of the movie, even though it was ridiculous. Dennis Hopper played King Koopa.
King Koopa, yeah. Great.
Mario and Luigi. The names were Mario Luigi, Luigi Mario. Right. Yeah, I would agree with you. That was a movie that kind of bombed as a video game movie. Only because the video game itself was so damn good. I guess that's what it is.
Well, they had
Do you think that there's people that love video games? Like, let's say somebody loves Super Mario Brothers. You think they would go see the movie and say to themselves, I can't play this game anymore. F this game. Because of the movie, right? I don't know. But Super Mario Brothers lasted the test of time.
You gotta learn to separate your interests from certain things about it. It's like if you're a Superman fan, right? If you really love the character Superman. I
love Superman.
Sorry to get off the topic of video games here, but for comparison, you're a huge Superman fan.
You're gonna love the movie either way.
And then you see, you know, a Superman fan, whether it's the movies or the comics.
And that's kind of a bad comparison because those Superman movies were good when they came out.
Or the comic books, whether you're a Superman fan of him, either way. And you see Man of Steel and you hate Man of Steel.
Okay, but that's going into the next generation of Superman movies.
That's not going to make me
Not the Christopher Reeve ones.
That's not going to make me hate Superman for the rest of my life, is what I'm saying.
Well, I went into the Superman movies loving it no matter what. It couldn't do no wrong for me because growing up, Superman was my favorite superhero. But anyway, yes, we would give a thumbs down to Super Mario Brothers.
So you didn't like you saw it in the movies? Oh.
Yeah, I believe I saw it in the movies. And I liked it. I guess I liked it more as a kid than I would now if I watched it. But, it's interesting because Super Mario Brothers is still going on for like, what, decade now? 2 decades? And you know, young kids are still loving it.
So what other, getting off anything?
Right. You got Doom, which just to go quickly through this first part of it, Doom with The Rock wasn't, I mean, I don't know if they should even made a movie about Doom. There's some video game movies that they shouldn't make, video games that they should make into movies.
And they did a new one of it, didn't they?
And they did a new one. Resident Evil was a pretty decent series. If you could get a sequel or even a third movie to a video game movie, then somehow people are watching it. You know, Super Mario Brothers didn't have a sequel, right? No. King Koopa,
no way.
But Resident Evil and the Umbrella Company had a bunch of sequels to that. But continuing on, World of Warcraft, which I saw. I wasn't a big fan of the game, and I wasn't a big fan of the movie either. And from people that I speak to, they didn't really...
Some of these movies you listed, I didn't even know they...
Well, House of the Dead was one that we used to go to the arcades and the movie theater all the time and just fire off shots. See, that was a simple video game. What we would do was kill zombies. You know, that's pretty much how Resident Evil was. And they made that into a movie, just like House of the Dead. But the video game was good too. Tomb Raider, they had to put some star power into Tomb Raider, so what did they do? Angelina Jolie.
And how many of those did they make?
I think they made 2, and then they made one without.
And they even made one without her, right?
Hotter Angelina Jolie type. But, no, look.
I never, it's not like I ever was like, this movie, they made a video game and into a movie, I want to go see it. No.
Well, well, you're right.
Especially after I was...
Well, there was one with me, and we'll get to that in a second. We'll just skip through Max Payne, the movie I didn't really like that much. Hitman, you know, you had the guy from Justified in it.
Yeah.
Which was kind of okay. I'm sure people love it.
That's when I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Double Dragon, I
didn't see that in the movies because I don't walk out of movies.
Yes, well.
Not one single time. Not one single time.
Which is crazy because every time I told you about a movie, you always saw it like halfway. Even earlier.
Yeah, but that's on TV. If I'm flipping through channels.
So you didn't see the Double Dragon 1994?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
It looked bad. It looked really bad. Because the game was dope. I love the game. But
getting into two of the
movie made, I saw the previews of the movie, Double Dragon, and I was like, oh, I gotta go see this movie.
But if you talk about video games that became movies, you talk about the two biggest games, which were Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I think everyone could agree that Street Fighter was definitely a thumbs down.
No, it's great, man.
Compared to the game. I mean, you had your Van Damme at his highlight of his career, right? Van Damme was the big thing back then. They put him as he was
French Guile.
Guile, right? French Guile, yes.
For some reason, Guile was supposed to be all American.
Oh, but you also had Bison was Julia, Raul Julia, right?
You know what's messed up about Street Fighter? That was Raul Julia's last movie.
No, that's a funny tidbit.
That's not funny. That's kind of
sad. Oh my God, Raul Julia. But he didn't do the Addams Family after that, or was Addams Family?
Maybe it was CGI post-production.
Oh my God, Raul Julia paid M. Bison and ended his career. Oh my God.
No, I think he died.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Okay. But going into Street Fighter.
Not laugh about that because that's horrible.
No.
Not just Raul Julia dying. I'm sorry.
No.
But being the last thing you ever did is Street. That guy deserved way better.
Oh, that's a good point. He should have went off right.
He deserved way better than
right,
that.
because most of the times when nowadays when people die, they get an Academy Award nomination. But in that movie,
he was awesome. He was an awesome actor. He was good.
But going to the other side of Street Fighter, you got Mortal Kombat, which in my opinion was one of my favorite video game movies. I gotta be honest with you. I liked part one. I liked the Mortal. I know a lot of people didn't like the Mortal Kombat movie because I think that people were biased because they love the game so much that you go to see the movie. It's like,
Did you get past the first one? Did you see past the first?
Oh,
one?
I saw both of them. But the first one was the one that I can remember, every single thing that happens. The second one, I have vague memory. I know they changed the characters. Maybe Luke Cage was different, or some of the characters. Sonya Blade was different actually.
No, Johnny
right?
Cage.
Johnny Cage. What did I say?
I think you said Liu Kang and Johnny. you combined Liu Kang and Johnny Cage.
Oh my God, that's what I did with Kevin Smith and Kevin James earlier when we were watching Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Yes. But the Mortal Kombat, I liked it though. I liked, look, they probably could have done a little better casting. I'm not saying the acting was Academy Award winning, but I thought it was a good movie. Didn't you think so? The guy who played,
well, the first one was okay. It was alright.
Kano.
It's better than Street Fighter. Street Fighter was terrible.
No, Street Fighter, there wasn't anything.
Street Fighter I think because of Street Fighter, that's why I saw Street Fighter in the theater, and I think that's the reason why I didn't want to go see Mortal Kombat in the theater.
Because you didn't want it to ruin your whole Mortal Kombat experience?
I was like, no. It's like, why am I going to waste money to see the same crap over again?
The guy
just under a different name. But,
The guy who played the leader in Mortal Kombat, what was the guy's name? What was the leader's name in the Mortal Kombat?
Shang Tsung?
Shang Tsung, yeah, he was pretty good in that.
Oh, that guy's another one who always plays the evil bastard in movies.
Oh, yes. He has an evil face.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if he was smiling, it would still be evil, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy has an evil face.
Untrustworthy looking motherfucker.
Exactly. Like if could you do the Godfather of my baby?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you babysit my children? Yes. Your soul is mine. He just has a really evil face, and I thought they did Goro okay. A lot of people didn't like the way they did Goro. You know, the guy with the 4 hands or whatever, 6 hands, Goro.
Yeah.
But no,
I don't know. I didn't like the way they made his arms look. They made his arms look a little stupid. But
that's how he was in the game.
I'd rather that than CGI. I'm so sick of CGI. Everything's so CGI.
Well, you know what's interesting is that we'll get off this. We'll move on to our second thing. Is that they're making Mortal Kombat rated R coming out, I think in 2020, 2021, which is going to be great. And I heard the director is going to be a good director for Mortal Kombat. The new one that they're making. So, and it's gonna have fatalities in it. It's gonna have fatalities in it.
It's actually.
That's everything that I'm reading says.
Like, Johnny Cage is gonna uppercut people's heads off.
Absolutely correct.
And Sub-Zero is gonna be ripping people's
freezing
heads off.
Freezing people. Exactly correct.
Scorpion's gonna be friggin' spitting fire and setting people on fire.
Yes, Kung Lao is gonna do the with the blade. Yes, with the helmet blade. Yes, he should be played by the Undertaker, by the way. I mean, he always looked like the Undertaker to me anyway in that video game.
Undertaker's not Japanese.
Okay.
That would be.
You're saying okay?
That would
So
be cultural appropriation.
Okay. Like when Annie wasn't a redhead, played by a brunette. Okay, whatever. But you could do whatever you want nowadays. And anyway, so that was video games that became movies. And honestly, to sum it up, there's not really any great movies.
Who would have been alright?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have been good as Guile? Like real? Because Van Damme was. See, Van Damme like going to Street Fighter movies.
Yeah, who would make a good Guile?
Who would have been a really good Guile?
Dolph Lundgren, maybe. No.
Maybe he would have been.
Maybe too tall.
Nah, if he would have had his flat top.
The flat top, yeah, you put him in a flat top like Drago type.
But even higher, because Guile always had that. Guile in Street Fighter.
According to what you're saying, it should be the actual Guile playing him, because if somebody tries to play him, it's like a misinterpretation. According to what you're saying nowadays, why is somebody playing Guile? Anyway, but yeah. He's not Korean or whatever. I don't know what Guile was, but
Guile's American.
He's American.
Van Damme was not American. Van Damme was culturally appropriating.
That's true. That is true. He was culturally appropriating, exactly. That's something that we might have to raise up in the future. But basically, none of the movies that video games became movies were any good, really. But if you want to talk about movies, we talk about video games that became movies. Now we talk about movies that became video games. Just regular movies that were made out of nowhere. Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, whatever, just made a movie and they made it into a video game. And how we rate the video games. If you want to talk about...
We want to set it off with the
extraterrestrial? And what was the point you made to me about the original E.T. movie? They weren't going to use Reese's. They were going to use...
They wanted to use M&M's.
M&M's, and they really messed up. But yes, E.T. was a video game. Actually, what's funny about this is that we literally watched...
because you needed a refresher.
I needed a refresher of how bad the game was. I mean, if you want to compare the movie... I mean, you know, it would be crazy if a video game was better than the actual movie. Right? Like the story was better or something like that.
You know what? There might be a few...
I don't know which one that would be. But what other ones... What other movies that became video games that did you actually like?
There was also...
Well, did you like E.T.?
Because you had... Like, it wasn't a good game.
It was entertaining for
the
them.
Atari 2600. Let's just say
right.
What it was for. You know, the Atari 2600 wasn't exactly gonna totally blow your mind when it comes to graphics.
I guess that's true.
When you were born around the time we were, you know. I mean, for us it did, but...
Well, not really. I saw E.T. and then when I played the video game, I was like, this is ridiculous.
I'm just talking about to have, you know, video games that in your own home and be able to play on systems, like. But
yeah.
E.T. was, not bad. There was a lot worse Atari games than that. And one I will say right here was Raiders of the Lost Ark. That game.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. I vaguely remember playing that game. He had a whip and everything,
it was
right?
Also for the Atari.
Was it like a Pitfall type of game?
It was also for the Atari. Oh no, Pitfall. Pitfall showed you mercy. This game was like.
Pitfall showed you mercy.
I don't know.
Indiana Jones didn't show you mercy.
This game, no. Raiders of the Lost Ark on the Atari 2600.
Okay.
There was things like. Also, when I had this game, I didn't know. I didn't know what the hell to do because I got the game loose. I didn't have it. I didn't have an instruction manual.
Did you see the movie first?
No, I'm saying like the game.
But you saw the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark before you played the game.
Probably.
Okay. We're just trying to compare the two. But did you like the game? Because I vaguely remember the game playing.
I found out years later, going on YouTube channels, looking at video game footage. I found out years later that you needed 2 controllers plugged in on your Atari, and you had to use both of them in 2 different
Oh, you mean you had to put one down and use another one?
But you had to use the menu with one controller.
Oh, did you have to be ambidextrous and use both at the same time?
You had to control him with one controller, and you had to use the menu on his weapons list as
Oh my
controller.
God, that's crazy.
It was something along those lines where you had to use 2 controllers.
That's crazy. Wow. Wow, because now they just make it, right, you just hit a button. But
that's a lot worse than having to fall down in pits like in
But then
E.T.
again, the 2600
like
only had the...
E.T. you fell down pits. That's a lot worse.
The 2600 only had the 2 buttons on the top and then the stick. They only had the left, right
They
button.
had a few types of different controllers.
For the original Atari 2600, I just remember the, with the, it looked like an accordion.
And they had some Star Wars games for that too.
Oh, Star Wars is another one. Another George Lucas, Steven Spielberg type. With the Star Wars games, see, Star Wars games are still going, and people love them. People like them.
Did you ever play the Super Nintendo Star Wars games?
The one where it would have the subtitles when Yoda would talk. It would say, "Don't try."
Super Nintendo ones.
For the Empire Strikes Back game.
They had everyone. They had everyone.
Because I remember liking the Empire Strikes Back game. But most of the Star Wars games that I've played over the years, I wasn't... See, the thing is, I'm not big on swordplay games. That's my bias on that.
This one was like Luke scrolling through this...
Well, you'd have the jet fighter game. All these Star Wars games have the same thing. You have the flying part, and you
I was
also...
asking about the Super Nintendo ones.
Oh, well, I don't really actually remember the Super Nintendo. I know I played them, but I can't really, you know...
Alright, so we were dwelling on what?
We were dwelling
There we go.
on movies that became video games.
And there's a lot worse because there was a terrible Bill and Ted game.
Which they're making another movie. I can't believe they made a Bill and Ted game. What system did that come out for? The NES?
NES.
Not even the Super Nintendo?
There's a terrible Die Hard game.
A Die Hard game. For what system was that? NES also?
NES used to make the shittiest versions of... They had a terrible Beetlejuice game.
So you're talking about the Nintendo, the first Nintendo Entertainment System, not the Super Nintendo?
Yes.
Okay.
NES.
NES. Because I remember the Super Nintendo had better graphics than the Sega did, whatever one they had. The Genesis.
A lot of people hated the Jaws game, but I didn't mind it.
The Jaws
compared
game.
to all the other terrible ones. Oh my God, Bill and Ted and Beetlejuice, those games are terrible.
Thank God I never played both of those.
And the Back to the Future one. They made a Back to the Future one. I remember playing that.
See, that could ruin the movie for me. I mean, these are movies that I loved. You know, actually, a lot of these video games are movies that are iconic movies that then make it into video games that really didn't do that good.
Some people
Was there any video game movie?
Some people really hate the Jaws one too.
I don't really remember it. I know I had the Jaws though. I just can't remember it. I am burnt over the years. Full disclosure, I've been burnt because I feel
I know you're burnt. It's
like recreational legal in New York to me. It's always been. But I'm just burnt over the years, and I don't remember most of these movies. Like you also have Dread. no, was it Dread or Total Recall? I don't remember Total Recall as a as a movie that became a video game. What system did that come out for?
NES. NES made
again NES. The originators of all the video game movies.
NES made horrible Predator game. Made horrible Terminator games.
I think I do remember liking Ghostbusters though.
Made a dope Batman game though.
Yes, Batman games are hit or miss though.
No, this one was based off. It was 100% based off the movie. It was the way Batman looked in the movie. Awesome game. Had nothing to do with the movie at all, other than like certain cutscenes. But
yeah, Batman would how yeah. See, Batman games, you know, and again,
but at least the game was good.
And I gotta tell you, a lot of these things that we're talking about are things that we remember from over time. Nowadays, every movie that comes out, they make a video game for. Almost every movie.
So what do you think? What do you think that hasn't been done? What do you think that hasn't been like really like pushed into the mainstream? Because
you mean like video games that we think can make good movies?
Yeah, even if you're, because you know, they're just gonna keep rebooting and regurgitating.
Right, regurgitating movies.
They're just gonna keep with the regurgitation.
Well, you know more about the storylines of video games than I do. What do you think would make a good movie?
What do you? Wait, no.
Well, I don't know most of the storyline.
No.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto, yes. Grand Theft.
You know, you probably know more. You probably played.
I finished every single Grand Theft Auto game more than once. Let's put it like that. From Tommy Vercetti.
Didn't you even have the PSP with the freaking Liberty?
No, that was the China Wars.
Yeah, you didn't have that?
I had that. I loved Grand Theft Auto. Again, full disclosure. Again, it's my favorite video game of all time. I love the Grand Theft Auto franchise. I love Rockstar. I can't wait for Part 6 to come out. Grand Theft Auto is the best game in the world to me.
You think
I finished Part 5 like 3 or 4 times.
You think they would be able to make a movie without ruining?
Absolutely. You just have to come up with a good story.
But without ruining everything.
First of all, I think
it would have to be rated R. There's no way you're gonna make a Grand Theft Auto movie without it being rated R.
The Tommy Vercetti one would have made a good movie. Even the Nico one, the one with Nico in it.
You're gonna say like, no way, it's not rated R.
Oh, it has to be rated R.
Not
of course, it has to be rated R. I mean, you're killing people and stealing their cars. You're going against the cops with Gatling guns.
Your own crime empire.
Oh, absolutely. You're pulling off and you're honking your horn so a woman can pull up and go into the car with you. Oh, it has to be rated R. If you're gonna make a great, see, I'm sure that somebody pitched this to a studio. You know,
you think Grand Theft Auto has been pitched as an idea?
Absolutely. And only like a guy like Weinstein or somebody would even make that kind of movie. No one would take a chance on a Grand Theft Auto type movie.
Oh, he wanted to star in it.
Oh, he would have to, yeah, of course. Absolutely. But no, Grand Theft Auto would make a great movie, I think. But it's first of all, the video game is controversial.
Let's try to go at least another 10.
The video game is very.
10 minutes.
The video game is very controversial. To make it into a movie is like it's beyond that. But then again, you take a movie like Hitman, a video game like Hitman, you make it into a movie, right? And people don't say anything about that, but he's still an assassin. But if you put Grand Theft Auto as a movie, I bet there'll be a lot of critics that would be, oh, how could they make that video game a movie? The video game itself is like rated mature and R.
Exactly, and there's plenty of movies with violence in it already.
There's a lot of nudity in Grand Theft. There's a lot of cursing.
But I'm saying there's already plenty of violent movies. Violent movies are not a new thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but if they were gonna make it, they would have to go all out.
They made how many Saw movies?
Oh, the Saw movies. I like that actual franchise.
Okay, so let's move away from GTA for a second, and then you look at this list right here, and think of what else they would be able to make one.
Well, you said we talked about okay. Here's the funniest thing. Let's go into forget about that. Let's go with Pitfall. You make it. It would be like a Tomb Raider Pitfall. But for skipping that, we talked about this before we start talking about it now. Donkey Kong being a movie. How could they make that into a movie?
I don't know. I think he needs a movie though. I think.
But what would it be? Him just going across the land and jumping over? It would have to be Super Mario Brothers crossover movie.
Who knows?
Because doesn't
No,
Mario?
call it Donkey Kong Country. Maybe they did make a Donkey Kong Country movie.
But in the original game, wasn't it Mario who was throwing those the barrels at Donkey Kong?
They might have even made a Donkey Kong Country movie.
No way. Well, that goes to show you if we don't know about it. But I think one that you were talking about, which I really want to know how you would make it into a movie, would be Punch Out.
I think they could do it like straight up like
a guy who's just trying to come up in the ranks, a really skinny guy with little skinny legs, and just moves around, he bobs and weaves.
You know, with guys like King Hippo size.
Oh, give me some of the characters that were in, so we could for the movie.
King Hippo.
Okay, but you had Glass Joe, and you had
Flamenco, the guy who he punches you when you go to punch him in the face and then he punches you.
Piston Honda.
Yeah, Piston Honda. Yeah. What about the characters? Like,
Now, in the video game, did they have like a little story behind them, or they really just had the height and weight and that was it?
It was just boxing.
So you would have to come up with a guy who's just trying to up and coming, and he wants to make the ranks in top rank boxing. Maybe he wants to fight Pacquiao, Mayweather. He has to go through Glass Joe, Piston Honda, all those crazy guys. And it would be interesting, because how would you film that movie? Would you do it from a point of view?
That's a good question.
A POV. Every time he gets into the ring, he's like,
That's a good question. Why do you want to do it like that?
bob and weave. But that would be interesting, though, to see how that movie would be. A Punch-Out movie. And who knows? You can even have Mike Tyson in the movie. He's not doing anything now. Put him in the freaking movie. You face him at the end, and he just knocks the guy out. Boom! And just kills him. That would be a cool ending to it.
So Little Mac shouldn't end up.
Little Mac!
He shouldn't win at the end.
Little Mac. And what was the thing how did the game go when you were able to get like a super ability? What did you have to do? Hit a combo or something?
You just have to press.
Oh, just press the button?
You have to press select.
Press select and then boom, 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 boom. But if you wasted that, you were screwed, right?
They didn't have combos until the Super Nintendo one. Anyway. So.
I think that Punch Out with
this one.
It all depends on how you make it.
Well, definitely. Castlevania.
Castlevania. Did they do a
There's a Netflix series.
Oh, the series. Right.
I used to watch it.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking in my head? Because let me tell you, I am so out there. I was mixing Castlevania up with Gauntlet. Actually, Gauntlet was the one with the 4 players, right? Where you could join in. That was a great video game. Yeah, Castlevania was great. I think they made a movie out of Castlevania, though. Actually, I just don't remember how it went.
It's a Netflix series, I heard.
Yeah, but something makes me think it was a movie too. You know what? Netflix is going to start making a lot of. We should start pitching some of these to Netflix, like making a series.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
We're sorry we're boring you, but these are all thoughts that everybody has in their head.
With a list and
Well, to sum it up, we talked about video games that became movies, and to overall sum it up is that none of the movies were pretty good. They couldn't hold up to the video games, right? And then we did movies that became video games, and for the most part, none of the video games held up to the movies, which is weird, right? None of the movies held up to the video games, and none of the video games held up to the movies. You didn't see where I'm going with that? But anyway.
There was some good arcade video games based off of movies.
I guess. But if you ask me what my favorite video game movie was, I would have to say, and I have to go to the thing and say, Mortal Kombat! I think that's my favorite. Has to be. Let's get a duet going. Let's do it. We got the mics. Come on, go. Give me a Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Mortal Kombat. Anyway, Have a good one, and I'm sure we missed a lot on this.
Later, everybody.
Later, guys.